Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third and probably final installment of this special Memorial Day celebration of Bruce Springsteen's cover songs. We have an esteemed panel of fanatic Bruce Springsteen fans and loyal Set Lusting Bruce listeners and guests talking about us. We are down. Ed had to move on, but we have Timothy, Chris, Henrick, Jaclyn, and Steve. And we are down to the Sweet 16. So just in case you haven't listened to the first two, we took a list of about 100 of Bruce's songs he has covered, and they all had to be available in some sort of official release. And we've whittled it down to the top 16. So, Chris, in the words of a song that is no longer with us, This Little Mine, take us home, Chris.
Thanks, Jesse. Okay, down to the last 16. First match, raise your hand or not fade away. Raise your hand. Okay, wasn't an instruction, but
I think since we're voting by raising your hand, none of us can resist raising our hand to vote for raising your hand.
5 hands are raised for raising.
I can next round.
Okay. All right. Okay, this is a biggie. Detroit medley or Santa Claus is coming to town. Detroit medley.
Oh my gosh.
Tim, Jesse, and Steve. Okay, so Detroit medley.
And Tim might tell the same story. I don't know about you, Steve, but I had never seen it. And so when he was in Dallas this last tour, they were missing Patty, they were missing Steven, they were missing Susie. And when he came back, he said, Dallas, this is for you. And they went into Detroit medley.
And Jesse was on the other side of the arena. He probably could have heard my scream as soon as I heard the first notes, because it turned one of my favorite Springsteen concerts into my all-time favorite concert, not just Springsteen. I've been to about 400 concerts, 18 Springsteen shows. Dallas this year, February 10th, was my favorite show ever. And the vast majority of that reason was because Detroit medley was played.
Yeah, I'd never seen it live. It was so much fun. And, there is a reason why it was a staple in the set list for a long time. And it did feel, and he said, so far, he said, Dallas, this is just for you. Yep. And so far, he has not played it again on the tour, has he?
No. And seriously, it was one of my favorite concert moments ever.
Yeah.
And hearing it, I think Thunder Road had come right before it, and then Rosalita went after it, and then he had Born to Run and Glory Days in there, and Badlands, The Rising was right before it. It was just the last hour of the show in Dallas was my favorite hour of any concert ever.
Okay.
It's My Life or Trapped? It's My Life. No, nobody.
Everybody who liked that song before.
Well, yeah, I mean, it got to the Sweet 16, but it had a good run, as they say.
I will repeat it. Trapped is the most Bruce Springsteen song that Bruce has never written.
Agreed.
It sounds like him. The lyrics are him. The themes that mix so well with his other songs. It is the most Bruce song you can get that he never wrote.
I agree.
And it's
even more than On the Dark Side.
And even that
shameless ripoff.
So one of the things that I always think it's ironic is that, Barry Manilow's most Barry Manilow song is one Bruce Johnston wrote, I Write the Songs, right?
Yes.
Which is iconic that the song I Write the Songs was not written by Barry Manilow, but it is one of the most Barry Manilow-ish songs. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to listen to Trapped with that version again. I'm going to listen to back and forth. But yeah, I think that's well said, Steve.
I think so too. And for me, I also think War is another song that I feel like is like a true Springsteen, like type of song that's a cover in times of freedom.
Yeah.
Talking of Trapped, it's probably like the most played Springsteen song on South African radio. There was one radio station that used to play it on a fairly regular basis. I'm going back probably about 15 years or so, probably in the noughties. And the reason it was playing it was because it was on the
We Are the
USA
World.
for Africa album. So obviously they were just playing, they'd found it on there and decided it was a good song. Anyway.
All right.
So next, Night Shift or Jersey Girl? Night Shift? Nobody? Nothing?
I guess
It had a
we
good
should-
run. We're
I
going to say
guess
this
we-
multiple times. We talked about how iconic it is. It's great. But yes, when you're against,
Okay.
I
yes.
guess we should also include Jersey Girl as one of the Bruce Springsteen songs that wasn't Bruce.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
He may
it
not have
could
written
be.
it, but it's psychically one of his songs. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
Well, and I'm just cracking up that we're down at the quarterfinals or whatever this is, and we have 2-5-0.
Yeah.
2-5-0 votes.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Bree,
Like there's-
we've got the first, we've got Raise Your Hand, Trapped,
Okay.
and Jersey Girl.
So far,
It's like 3 clean sweeps out of
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. I Don't Want to Go Home or Purple Rain? I Don't Want to Go Home. Just Jesse.
so
Purple Rain?
the streak is run.
And it's going home.
Everyone else going for Purple Rain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's the right choice. So I will tell you my don't want to go home story since it's being gone.
It's going home.
I was in the hospital in 2017 and I had colon cancer. They had taken out the tumor that was in my colon. They had put in my port because I was going to have chemo, and they thought they were going to release me, and they didn't. I had to stay over one more night. And I made the joke that I was playing I Don't Want to Go Home and singing out loud, and I think the nurses overheard, and that's why I didn't get released.
Oh my-
So that's
you know,
a
you
very
just wanted
dad
that sweet,
joke,
sweet
right?
Jello.
So I would love seeing either one of these live, but there is something joyous about when you see Steve and Bruce and Southside and them all doing that collection of I Don't Want to Go Home. It is a perfect way to end a show. And I'm very happy I got this far.
Yeah, we're so proud of you, Jesse.
All right.
Okay. Night Shift was the last song from the current album, wasn't it? I think
Yes.
it's gone. Okay, Twist and Shout or Dream Baby Dream? Twist and Shout. Henrick. Okay, so it's going to be, I guess, everyone else, Dream Baby Dream. Jolay Blonde or This Land Is Your Land? Jolay Blonde.
Wow.
Jesse, Henrick, and Steve. Okay, so it's 3-2 to Jolay Blonde.
Wow.
Bit of a
It's
surprise,
Here's
actually.
gone.
That's a little bit of an upset, I think.
It's 100% an upset, but I expected.
Yeah, but again, I think This Land Is Your Land gets everybody knows it, and it's one of those that it's hard for Bruce to make a standard Bruce song out of an American
I don't
standard.
disagree.
That
Yes.
okay, he could do this. Okay, Jimi Hendrix is the one guy that made the Star Spangled Banner his own. Everybody else, you're singing this.
Whitney Houston, but
See, I'm not. Yeah, probably, but like I said,
But I know
she
what
did
you're
a good
saying, right?
version of it. But Jimmy is the one where you hear that and you, oh God, that clearly that's
Yeah,
Hendrix
obviously.
playing guitar. I think that's where it's hard to make a standard your own. And I think that's the problem with This Land Is Your Land, is that no matter how well he does it, no matter how many times he plays it, it's still, everybody knows it from someplace else.
Agreed.
Just Like Firewood or Quarter to Three? Just Like Firewood. Everyone apart from Henrick. Okay. A bit surprised. I think that's a bit of an overachiever. That's the end of the last 16. So we're into the quarterfinals.
All right.
The last 8.
Elite 8.
And we've got no songs from either Sega Sessions or
not anymore.
Or for Only the Strong Survive.
Yep.
Just
which
Springsteen mythology right now.
Which are his covers, his cover albums. Ironically. Okay. Raise Your Hand or Detroit Medley? Raise Your Hand.
Oh my gosh, we all just
Nobody for Raise Your Hand.
On Raise Your Hand all of a sudden.
I figured one person would.
Okay. Detroit Medley.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everybody. Okay, so
That one's hard for me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
with Detroit Medley, is it always the same 3 songs?
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
Does he? It's always.
No,
it's always.
and that's why we made this one selection.
Yeah.
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 It's like side 2 of Abbey Road. You can't really separate it and have it be a coherent song.
But now Bruce needs to call it the Dallas medley.
Okay. Trapped or Jersey Girl? Trapped.
Drive.
Henrick, Jaclyn, and Steve. And maybe
Timothy
Tim.
reluctantly.
Sure. I guess I could
Okay.
vote either way happily.
It's 4-1 to Trapped.
Yep, I'm going to give my dissenting vote to Jersey Girl, but I understand.
I would have gone for Jersey Girl as well. Purple Rain or Dream Baby Dream? Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
Henrick, Tim. Dream Baby Dream.
See, this is where we get the weird
Jesse.
combos.
Yeah.
Jesse, Jaclyn, and Steve. Okay. Jolie Blonde or Just Like Firewood? I feel like we've had this one before, but anyway, it's like Jolie Blonde.
I'm going to keep riding Jolie Blanc.
Okay, so Jesse, Henrick, and Steve.
Yes. It's the little song that could.
So we're down to the semi-finals.
Yep.
The last 4.
So the 4 are Detroit Medley, Trapped, Dream Baby Dream, Jolie Blanc.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Tim, is there something you're surprised didn't make it to the final 4?
Kind of surprised. I think in a different bracket, Jersey Girl would have been there. And I'm also surprised a little bit that the Pete Seeger song off of Live didn't make it. I mean, it made it far, but it didn't make it. I would have thought that would have been here. But again, going in, I was kind of thinking, okay, Detroit Medley, Trap, Jersey Girl, and maybe a wild card in there.
Okay.
So
You,
I'm
Henry?
a little surprised, but not necessarily shocked that because of the bracket. But this next one, I don't know how I can possibly vote on one of these. So,
All right. So Henrik, how about you? Anything that didn't make the top 4? You're a little surprised.
No, again, everybody gets surprised that Jersey Girl is not making it, but that's the way it's built up. I'm sure if it has not gone up against Trapped, it would have been there. So, so no, I'm more surprised like that Just Like Firewood is a good song, but I was surprised that went so far.
Yeah, that's interesting. Steve?
I'd say Jersey Girl, but I think that's the luck of the draw in the bracket.
Yeah.
I don't know how, not having gone to that site, I wonder if you hit F5 and reloaded it and put them all in a different combo. If we mixed them up and re-bracketed them, would we end up with the same 4, or would we, I think if Trapped and Jersey Girl weren't up against each other, Jersey Girl would be here.
I agree.
I do think that because you think about, and Jaclyn, give your thoughts and then I'll talk a little.
All I was gonna say is, I guess I may be the oddball here, but I when I think of Bruce Springsteen, I think of equality, fairness, patriotism in those senses. And so I'm surprised that War and Chimes of Freedom and This Land Is Your Land didn't make it, because I feel like those songs really symbolize his entire musical career.
Yeah. War is another one that I kind of would have thought would have made it. I mean, it made it 2 or 3 rounds, but it did fizzle out.
And I do think
it's luck of the draw.
I do think Steve is got a good point, and then I want to hear what you think, Chris. Right? If you shuffle this out, because think about during the early rounds how often Chris had to vote because it was 3-3, and so if you just switch that around, you get some different matchups. And yeah, I think it was just very. How they'll talk about this is the true Super Bowl, the AFC Championship game, or the NFC Championship game is the true Super Bowl. I do feel in a lot of ways Trapped and Jersey Girl was like, oh, this should have been the top. Chris, you've been going through this all. Any thoughts you want to give before we go to the final 4?
Yeah, I did try and, like I said, I put the 30 songs I thought were maybe the most popular. I seeded them first, so they got sort of the pass to the second round.
Yeah.
But it was difficult to, to sort of really seed them. You just don't know, do you?
It was all,
and the rest was just random.
It broke how it did. So
and it would be interesting to see, because certain songs got a bye, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder how many of them actually did that do them any good as far as moving on.
I think the only one in the semifinals that didn't get a bye is Jolie Blonde.
Okay.
I think that was in the very first round. But the only way you could, other way of doing it would be have like a round robin tournament, but then we'd be here for weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If everybody plays everyone else.
Depends how many podcast episodes Jesse wants to do.
Yeah.
That if he's looking to do this show for the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's the next 1,000 podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
I think this next one's going to be the true Super Bowl.
I do think what would be, and I should remember. No, I'm not going to take this out. I think our next round should be best live songs. Not necessarily best songs, but just best live songs would be a fun discussion.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
How would you get it? Sure, yeah, okay.
But
I don't know. Yeah.
We would end up with Racing in the Street. I mean,
or Rosalita.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Chris, take us home.
Right.
What's going to be the top 3? Which of these will not make the podium?
It's always the worst is always to lose in the semi-final, isn't it?
Yes.
Detroit medley against Trapped. Detroit medley. Tim.
Really?
Yes, really. You got your hand up.
My number 1, man.
Trapped.
Trapped, number 1.
Steve, you convinced me.
4. Okay, so Jimmy Cliff's going through to the final.
God, I love Detroit medley so much. I'm serious. In Dallas, that was the best. Hearing that live, it was just the best moment in concert history. It was just amazing. So I'm glad I got to see it live because in true set listing Bruce format, that was my number 1 all-time favorite one that I wanted to see live. And so having him do it, You know, can't take that away, but I'm disappointed to see the song leave. So even to Jimmy Cliff
you get to vote
classic.
for it. We do the consolation game, so you'll get one more vote at it.
Yes,
it's fine. Like I said, it's end of the day, I loved it, but you know, it's I'm kind of surprised it didn't get at least one more vote. But Trapped is a great song, and I'll definitely be voting for Trapped in a second. So
Dream Baby Dream or Jolie Blonde? Dream Baby Dream.
Sorry, Jolie Blanc, but
Jesse,
I've got to
Tim,
move on.
and Jaclyn. Okay, so that's 3. So High Hopes album's doing a lot better in this competition than it did in the other.
Good.
It would be actually funny, wouldn't it, if like High Hopes wins this competition?
It's not going to. So.
Yeah, all right, but maybe,
it's a moot point.
Okay. Let's
do
the
match first.
Let's do the bronze match first. So for third place, last step on the podium, Detroit Medley or Jolie Blonde? Detroit Medley. Everyone against.
See you later, McNeese.
Apart from Jesse.
See you later, McNeese. Yes.
So,
which radio station that I work for, that the University of North Texas was playing Jesse's alma mater, McNeese State, and a guy that works for us was calling the game, and at the end of the game he yells out, "See you later, McNeese State," and it's lived on in infamy. 20 years after he did the call, they still play it. It's just one of those random weird
it's funny
this
audio clips that still live on in
that has in no context, and it just
yeah.
All right.
Okay, so this is it then.
This is it, and I think it's going to be 4-1 or 5-0.
So Trapped against Dream Baby Dream. Now, before we vote, does anyone want to pitch an argument for either song?
I don't know. I'm going to explain why I'm going to pick Dream Baby Dream. So they had released that, as a single before it was coming out. And that video, I think, is amazing. It captures the magic of going to a Springsteen show, that video that's set to Dream Baby Dream. And so we were in my hometown, Lake Charles, Louisiana, speaking of See You Later, McNeese. And I mentioned, hey, Bruce has a new single. And they, play it. And so my wife goes, well, that's a stupid song. It's just saying the same thing over and over again. I can't stand that song. And my son's like, no, I think it's got a little something. Play it again, Dad. So I played it again. And then Linda said, well, wait a minute. Play it again. And then, so by the third or fourth time, like, wow, that's actually almost a meditation. I really like this song. So we played Dream Baby Dream right before we're going to start the Cowboy game. I took a video when the Cowboys made it to the second round of the playoffs this year, which is rare atmosphere. I took all these pictures of us attending games and, just game day pictures and put it to Dream Baby Dream and released that to our family. So Dream Baby Dream is one of my family's anthems. And so that's why it's getting my vote.
Can I say why I'm pitching for Trapped?
Oh, please. That's exactly what we need you to do.
Okay, so the reason why I love that cover song the most out of all of his cover songs is because the way that the world has been built and the way the system in society has been built, being trapped can mean that you're mentally trapped, physically trapped, emotionally trapped, and it's like you're fighting against a system that you don't think you will ever win, but you keep the hope alive that things could change and that they will change. And I feel like it's such a great motivational and inspirational song to come together as in, you know, power of numbers, and not only, you know, make change through voting, but also to just discuss these topics and subjects that create the human being to feel trapped. And so I just really love this song because I feel like it's an undying hope that you can get together and make the change that you need to make in order to free yourself.
Yeah,
I agree. Sorry, carry on, Tim.
That's why it gets my vote. So
yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say, I've spent enough time promoting Trapped. I will just say to Jesse, if you're looking for something to put before a Cowboy Game video montage, can I suggest A Common Disaster by Cowboy Junkies?
Well done, my friend.
That's
well
much
done.
more That's much more reflective of Cowboys, really.
Yes.
Or This Is the End of the World as we know it. So,
Yes.
Okay, I'll just put my word in for Trapped. It was on also from the 2014 tour when they were releasing a live. It was one of the Australian. I don't know if it was Brisbane or one of the other Australian concerts. Could have been Perth or something. I'm not too sure, but anyway, I bought the live recording. And that was, probably wasn't the first time I heard it, but it just sort of hit me then. And at that time I was sort of my marriage was going through a rocky phase, which only got rockier. And so that was sort of the meaning for me at the time, you know. I'm sort of trapped,
nice.
You know, but again, you sort of, it gives you hope that somewhere there's a way out, which fortunately there was.
Yeah. That's good. Henrick, any thoughts?
It is an unbelievable track, and I just, you know, for years I actually didn't know that it was not his song, and then I got to, you know, look for the Jimmy Cliff, and I actually like Jimmy Cliff. He made a great one, but the Jimmy Cliff version of Trapped is
the Jimmy Cliff one. It's like if you go into like I can imagine if you go into like a bar in the Midwest or somewhere, and there'd be like a country singer doing a cover version of of Trapped. It's like so low key compared to it's still it's still a good, obviously he wrote it, it's a damn good song, but just his performance is, there's nothing wrong with it, but compared to Bruce's, it's
exactly
nowhere, you know. I'm sure most people would love to be able to write and sing a song like that, but
all right, so
it's 4-1.
So it's 4-1, right?
I was
4
gonna
for
say
Trapped, 1 for Dream Baby Dream.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Is everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I was gonna say that I feel like Trap embodies Bruce's greatness about creating songs that are like noble and majestic and sound, and I also love the music of how it gets loud and then it gets quiet and then it gets the crescendo. I just love everything about it.
So our top 3 is Trapped, Dream Baby Dream, Detroit Medley, with Jolie Blount and as honorable mention. I think the top 3, except for Jersey Girl, I think are right all there.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed with any of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because they are 3 songs that he's made his own. Right, like if you think of Detroit Medley, you think of Springsteen. Dream Baby Dream, I currently think of Bruce, and certainly Trapped. So yeah, well done.
Well, and it's not like you hear Devil with the Blue Dress on oldies radio or Jenny Takes a Ride on oldies radio, where those songs are in somebody's head as somebody else's songs.
Right.
And I think that helps with Detroit Medley in that, you know, the components of the medley are not, you know, popular in their own right. I mean, they were, You know,
I don't think
I
I've heard Mitch Ryder's version in 20 years, probably.
20, I would probably say 40.
Yeah.
Well, I may have it on CD somewhere, but I don't know.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Good. All right. Steve, if someone wants to reach you or any final words you want to share?
I'm on Twitter at Steve Pryor, GPISD. Can find me there. Just always willing to talk to people.
Very nice. Henrick, what shows are you going to this summer? Have you already gone or?
No, I'm going to the 3 in Gothenburg and the 2 in Copenhagen.
Nice. Very
So
nice.
they're coming up soon.
I'm excited for you. I can't wait to hear. If someone wants to reach you?
I'm on Twitter as Joe Roberts.
Very nice. Timothy?
I'm sometimes on Twitter and sometimes not, but I think it's LVMTG Concierge. I don't know why that it's been there forever, but yeah, that's sometimes I'm on there, sometimes not, but I've got a whole slate of other shows to see this summer. Janet Jackson, Matchbox 20, Pink, Foo Fighters, Queen, and Aerosmith. So I'm looking forward to a really good summer. So
Good, very nice. Jaclyn?
I do have a question. Are we not going to vote for the #1 song?
we did.
Yeah, it's trash. Dream, maybe dream, just right medley.
I didn't know if we were gonna like officially raise our hands, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the best way to reach me is the manifestit.com. It has all my socials there and my books, podcast, and publishing company there. And for this summer, I'm just gonna work on my publishing work and my writing, my article writing, and just kind of see what happens. Like whatever happens, happens. That's what
Nice.
Absolutely. And Chris, how about you?
Well, I'm actually going to be in the UK at the same time as the Hyde Park shows. So as Bruce says, I'm counting on a miracle. Hopefully something will come up, but anyway, you know, I've seen him once, so if I don't get to see him, it's not the end of the world.
I am cheering for you, my friend, very much so. I'm gonna
I've sent an email to someone we all know, and I'm just hoping, but then, you know, there's other people who deserve it more, so
yeah, but we should throw it out there on social media though, that if someone has an extra ticket that they want to get rid of, that to think of you. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
absolutely.
And it's Hyde Park, so there's only like a gazillion tickets.
Yeah.
Yes.
So hopefully,
but they were all sold out.
It's not a small. It's not a small place.
No.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if it happens, it happens. If not, not too.
Well, I do want to specifically thank all of my guests. This was a lot of fun, and Ed, who had to leave. But Chris, thank you for doing all the hard work. We just show up and talk. You have to load in all the call songs and do all this, and so I really appreciate this. And yes, I don't know what our next topic is going to be, but I do want in a couple of months us to do this again because it's a wonderful way to spend the weekend.
The live songs.
Okay, there we go. All right, listeners, tell us what we got wrong. setlistingbruce@gmail.com. Tell us what we got right. I'm at Jesse Jackson DFW on Twitter. The show is at setlistingbruce. Please go like and review us on wherever you get your podcast, iTunes, Podchase, Spotify, wherever, and give us a 5-star review. It does help the podcast. So thank you, Tim, Chris, Henrick, Jaclyn, and Steve. I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend and enjoy your Memorial Day. And we will talk to you soon. Goodbye. Bye.
Yeah. Last time, Jaclyn, there were a bunch of songs that you and Rachel both voted the same way. And it was like, okay, is this the female perspective, just a different viewpoint, whatever. This is why you two were voting together on romantic song. And we're kind of like, it's all right, it's okay.
Don't forget Jesse, because he likes them too.
But like I said, it was just funny seeing like I said, I felt like I saw patterns last time.
Yeah.
Here, it's
it is kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's no sort of precedent for, like, I don't think I've seen maybe it exists, but I haven't seen like a top 10 of Springsteen covers. I'm sure someone must have made a list somewhere.
I'm sure there is, because there's lists for everything, but it's not something that I've really seen. And a lot of the Nick Massey Cover Me show, 80% of that is devoted to artists who have covered Bruce, not necessarily Bruce covering other artists. So, and also, so, I'm sure it exists, but it's not something that's so far out there, and it's public knowledge.
Well, and Jesse, I think you put out something the other day of the website that's got every song he ever covered. It's like, the only problem with that is that it's, him dropping into the Stone Pony to play with Cats on a Smooth Surface and, or John Eddy or whoever, and popping in some random, 80s. It's like,
it hasn't
okay, technically he may have covered it, but how many people have seen it or heard it or whatever? It kind of puts him in a different category.
On that website, they say he's covered a John Hyatt song. I don't remember which one, but there's no recording of it. It's just someone reported, during sound check, he did, Memphis in the Meantime or something. And, and so I'm glad we didn't include those.
It hasn't entered public consciousness for those type of songs.
Yeah.
I think all of these
16 that we have here are all very much not just Springsteen fan favorites, but they're conscious. They're in the public sphere.
Yeah, so. I agree.
And I think all the songs on here were available in some form.
Yes.
Yeah, I did the whole 98. As far as
we don't just have to take Bill's word for it that he did it in Jacksonville, Tennessee.
Or sung it in the shower.
1977.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go.
Okay, what will we do? Okay,
let's get it down. Here we go. Counting us down in 3, 2, 1.